Brave the bridge, pull close the stool, set it next to mine and theirs, gather at this table with me. Place in my palm your hand, JIKỌTA. Let us assemble. My great-grandmother's skin defied time. What does it mean to be old if you are timeless? Kedu ihe pụtara? Ọ bụ gịnị? Aka m bụ nke m. My hands are mine. What is touch if not the story of our encounters and otherworldly memories? Aka m bụ nke ya. My hands are hers. They are tender things that have survived the cane and the cracking winds, winter and harmattan. They have delivered blows and comfort. They have made things new, made them bright. They have made things. What is fear of age when wisdom is the reward? Brave the bridge, pull close the stool, gather, come to this table with me. Place in my palm your hand, JIKỌTA.
Suddenly, we were in a very, very different world that I think for me, I'd always expected that we would get to this point. It was in everything, in our pop culture, in the way we see the future, some kind of covering of your face because there's this world that's so different. And the things that come simple to you, like breathing, is something that you have to plan for.
But we're at a point where we are having to look inward and reflect, which is necessary for growth in general. This is metamorphosis. It's this beautiful and incredibly hideous thing. We're fighting it. We're really fighting ourselves. We're wondering, what is it all for? It's change, and we need change. You would think that as humans we'd be used to change, but we're not. You would think that we'd be used to trauma. We're born out of trauma. We're born into trauma. We're literally yanked from the world we know, yanked from another being, a being who is giving life, but also risks losing it in doing so. So you wonder, how alive is that being? It's like they're straddling being and unbeing, life and death in that moment. It's like we have short-term memory when it comes to change, but we learn to appreciate it, and we certainly have to deal with it. We have no choice.
IGBO SUPPLY is, I guess, a response to an adverse reaction I was having to the world. And I just assumed that other people were having the same reaction. And I felt like I needed to do something about it. So it's the thing that I'm doing. IGBO SUPPLY is a concept store and practice inspired by my Igbo culture. It focuses on wellness and sustainability. It's also the parent of my personal care line, JIKỌTA. It's an Igbo person supplying things. But that's the whole point, right? It's about breathing.
This is a necessary process of our evolution. Whether we choose to accept it or not is a completely different thing, but I think that this is growing pains. We're just trying to make sense of it all, and that in itself is a process.
We become conditioned to think that more is better, but more is just more. More has become suffocating. I kind of feel allergic to it. Not just metaphorically, but in the sense that I feel like waste has gotten into the fabric of the most basic parts of what keeps us going as human beings. Air, water, all of it. It's literally in our bodies. So, I'm about thoughtful production. I'm someone who wants to bring beautiful things into the world. I mean, we're talking about design, and I want to create beautiful things. But I'm also conscientious about it. Hence the thoughtful production. We can't continue, or rather we shouldn't, because we can, consuming things at the rate we're going. It's so unnecessary, and it's not good for us. So, in addition to that, I'm very interested in mindful consumption. One of my favorite quotes from Massimo Vignelli is, "The life of a designer is a life of fight, a fight against the ugliness. The repercussions of ugliness is endless. Waste is ugly. It's goddamn ugly." There's something beautiful about watching something transform from something that seems so uninteresting, so ordinary, mundane, become grand, magnificent, attractive. And I like the behind the scenes. I like watching people arrive at this thing. You know, I kind of feel like it's like having VIP access. I've been thinking a lot about my great-grandmother. I was very fortunate to have seen most of my great-grandparents, and I remember this smallish woman who had amazing skin for, you know, her age and just the way she kind of carried on. So I started a quest to like find out what she was doing, and maybe that could help me. At that point, I discovered that it's not just that. There were a lot of things that we did a certain way that just made more sense. Simplification is part of like design. You know, you create something and then you start to subtract all the unnecessary until you arrive at the most essential part of that thing that can still function. And that's what makes it timeless. You know, it's tidy, it's clean. And it has to be simple. Yeah, it has to be simple. Our indigenous ways, my great-grandmother's ways, were simple. Not simple in that they didn't have significance or they didn't hold weight in this world, but they attended to our basic needs in ways that are connected to the things around us, you know, the things of this earth. So I strive to give second life to old techniques and process. You know, a lot of my work is informed by my cultural learnings, indigenous and neighboring. I believe that we can make new with things that already exist. And I want to return to this knowledge, you know, to create
things that honor those ways of being, that honor her way of being, that connect me to my roots, to my core. I find it grounding. The Japanese philosopher Yanagi Suetsu said, make beautiful things, make things to be used, eliminate everything that is unnecessary. And I think that really gets at the core of what wellness means to me. Getting rid of all the things that don't bring you joy, that don't fill you up with goodness. And I want to be fully well. I don't want things that clutter space. Wellness to me is living a life of plenty, but not one of excess. And I think we all want that in some ways. My vision for wellness centers on the sensibilities of Igbo culture. It's informed by artisans, farmers, by traditions, by folklore. It takes the essentials with special attention to details. No compromises, no apology. We only need a few good things. That's what I'm getting at. Good things. Most of my work is incredibly personal. I'm inspired by loved ones. It's manual, it's intimate, it's slow. Something I've come to enjoy. I believe wellness should be about self-reflection, so I guess in many ways my work is a reflection of self. It resembles me and others like me. My work is a practice of wellness. It's deliberate, it's careful, it's simple, it's ancestral.
I need my fight, I need my mind, I need my chi. Then I need my calm, I need my chill, I need my chi. Prayer before I start, I did forget, she remind me. Panoramic vision with the info you receive. Info you receive.